Okay, so here's the first kind of thoughts and ideas on the service that we can build around this idea of who can pull the plug for the risk mandate, right? And the interesting thing about this is that it's actually a very good question, and it's an easy question to ask, but it's very hard to answer properly, right? Basically, which is sort of who can actually pull the plug, right, on this. And fundamentally, the question is this: if this agent starts doing something that no one intended, who stops it, how fast, and what does stopping it cost? Because it's not just pulling the plug, right? It's the whole side effects of what will happen when you actually pull the plug, right? The blast radius, side effects, and also how much is even recoverable, right? So you could see in the previous sort of videos and how are we thinking about that, but the idea is to then start to have this profile, right? Where you create a profile almost for every single agent that you have, like who is going to pull the plug? Does he have the authority? Have you verified? What's the blast radius, even the cost? How fast can you pull it? How fast can you detect it? What are the side effects? Can you recover all of them? So you start to get this interesting example of and state and facts, right? Of the universe of the multiple options here. And I think this is very important, right? And these are dimensions, right? Now, it's important to say that in the risk mandate sort of world, we actually are we're not in line. We just read, we connect the dots, we map the stuff because we use our digital twins and then we grab the data and then we connect the dots, right? And also we already use this sort of with this technical insight, which is the authorization is whatever the agent can already do. So we start with that, right? So that's the blast radius. The blast radius fundamentally ends what it can happen, and what you authorize it is basically everything that the agent is able to do based on the privileges, but and also that you give the agents what stuff you discovered on the file, maybe agentic systems that's there or accounts that are recovered. Basically, the unit, everything is what the agent can actually do. So the way we think about this is the agent can do it, it was authorized. And part of what the value that we provide is trying to shrink that. We're trying to shrink that sort of authorization model, authorization sort of universe, so that it makes much more contained, right? So normal GRCs don't really have this capability because they have the records, but they don't really connect the dots. So we're trying to basically, but we integrate with them, right? But we're trying to provide a much more graph-based and fractal because we create risk dashboards for every level. You can make business cases of the implementation, how much money you save, right? And fundamentally, we see the metric as how many risks got accepted and what's the business risk reduction. And fundamentally, that's what we're trying to do. And all this is open source. The idea is that you can run open source. We provide a sort of a usage-based capability, and then we charge based on these capabilities, right? And that's kind of the idea.